You are
Yeah.
saying that abortion is okay because babies don't feel it. So I'm asking you, is killing another innocent person when they don't, is that justified?
Is health care for women who need it.
Okay, so he's not answering the question and he's going off to something else, which, again, I completely understand, actually, because his point is falling to bits. Hello and welcome to Off the Party Line with me, Mark Williams, and today I'm going to be reacting to the Surrounded show from Jubilee, where Allie Beth Stuckey, the one conservative Christian, is surrounded by 20 liberal Christians. For those of you who don't know the format of this kind of show, what Jubilee do is they get 20 people who disagree with the one, and they get to come turn by turn and debate different propositions with the person in the middle. Now, this show can get a little bit hairy, it can get a little bit argumentative. This one actually wasn't too bad. The tone of it was really quite good. Yes, there's some slightly testy exchanges, but on the whole, it was a really good faith argument. I'm going to be reacting to a particular clip today, so without any further ado, let's get into it.
Hi, what's your name?
Steve, first 6 weeks of pregnancy.
Okay, so first up is Steve. And he's saying first 6 weeks of pregnancy. So I think we know what topic he's going to talk about. Interesting that a man feels he's able to have an opinion about this topic, especially when talking to a woman. Didn't think that was allowed, but maybe in the case where you've got the correct opinion, it's all fine. Let's see.
That fetus has not developed pain receptors. That doesn't happen till maybe at the earliest 10 weeks.
Okay, right. So he's talking about pain receptors. So this is a reasonably common argument for the side. So let's see where Allie Beth takes this.
Most experts say 22 to 24 weeks.
Is killing only wrong
no-
if someone can feel pain?
It's wrong for you to characterize it as violent.
Okay, so it's slightly not answering the question there. This is really the obvious question. If you're saying that is fine because they can't feel pain, it raises a few questions. At the point, if we could prove that they feel pain, does that make it wrong? I don't think you would say that. And also, is it fine to kill any human being who can't feel pain? What about if you give people a painkiller where they can't feel anything? Is that okay? Obviously not. So why is it okay in this instance? Really, it always comes down, as it always does, to what is the occupant of the womb? Is it a human being or isn't it? Let's see what Allie Beth says.
It's violent.
Painful when it's not.
It is violent. Of course it's violent. Even when you take the pill, you are starving that human being. If you want to call him or her a zygote or a fetus, that's all fine. Those are all stages of development that all of us went through, that all children go through.
That is a very good point. Of course, we all go through these different phases. The words fetus, zygote, clump of cells, these are things that are used to really dehumanize. I mean, that's really what they're doing, because nobody wants to admit that they're killing a human. And I can understand why. It's a difficult thing to admit that that's what you're doing. And in order to be pro that side of the fence, you probably mostly have to do that. The problem is it's not really true. I've seen in recent weeks 4 times I've seen my child. I've not actually met him yet, but I've seen him 4 times on an ultrasound scan. 4 times. And every single time we've been in, the lovely ladies who have scanned my wife's belly and shown us our next son have all referred to him as baby. And that was every single time. They don't talk about, fetus is doing this or clump of cells is moving around. No, they call him baby, which is his name until he's got his proper name. Because he's a baby. He's a human being. And to say that, he can't feel pain, so it would be okay to kill him, morally on very, very dangerous ground. It does seem to me that it's baby when they're wanted, and when they're not, we dehumanize. It's really sad.
It is still the killing of a human being. And when you take the abortion pill, the 2-part abortion pill, you are starving that human being of the nutrients that he or she needs to survive.
And what could be more violent than that? If we were to say that a human that is been born, whether they're a baby or a grown-up, and you give them something that starves them of the nutrients that they need to live, or deprives them of oxygen, or deprives them of anything, what is that? Well, you know what it is. So why is it different to do it to a 6-week gestating human being? To me, there's no difference.
And that is violent.
That they can't feel.
Are you saying there are a lot of people who...
Well, there you go. You're saying they can't feel. Does a violent act only be violent when you can feel it? I can give you painkillers and I do an act of violence, you won't feel it, still violent.
Who are murdered who can't
But
feel it.
but
Are you saying that murder is justified because they can't feel it?
No, we're talking about
we're talking
Allie,
about
we're not talking about something else. We're talking about abortion.
But I'm trying to understand your logic.
Exactly. She's trying to understand the logic he's saying we're talking about. But this is exactly where the problem is. We're saying is killing. So it's about where you draw the line about when a human being is a human being. That really is the argument boiled down to its core. So you have to test these logical claims against other things to see if they're true, or to see if they're consistent, really, more than anything. So that's the reason for the question. If you're saying it is okay because they can't feel it, well, then we have to apply that test to other things. And it, of course, falls down.
You are saying that it's okay because babies don't feel it. So I'm asking you, is killing another innocent person when they don't feel it justified?
Is health care for women who need it.
Okay, so he's not answering the question and he's going off to something else, which, again, I completely understand, actually, because his point is falling to bits. You see his hands shaking as well. He's probably nervous, bless him. It's a tough thing to do this. He said, we want to talk about this, not that. Well, the reason he wants to talk about this and not that is because the logical strain is being really pulled at here, and he doesn't like it for good reasons.
Who have unwanted pregnancies.
In what other case is killing an
12-year-old
innocent
girls
person?
who have experienced Allie?
That's less than 1% of all. We agree.
So most of it happen within the first 6 weeks.
If I said to you,
painful and violent.
Most happen within the first 6 weeks and it's not painful and violent. Okay. I'm not necessarily qualified to say whether it's painful or not before 6 weeks. I'll let someone else tell me that. It doesn't really affect my argument, if I'm totally honest. It doesn't matter to me whether it's a painful thing or not. I agree with Ali. Just because something is not painful doesn't mean it's not violent. A violent act is a violent act, no matter who it's done to.
If I said to you, okay, fine, we will only allow, which this is not my position, but if I said we will only allow in those 1% of cases in which it's rape or incest, would you agree with me to ban the rest of
the denial of health care to women is 100% harmful to the woman.
So again, he's not answering the question because, again, he knows it's detrimental to his argument. It is funny because we spend a lot of time talking about those two horrendous edge cases, and they are edge cases because they're less than 1%. It doesn't minimize the impact of them, which is obviously huge to those who experience it. But we spend a lot more than 1% of this conversation on that less than 1%. And there's obvious reasons for that. It's because it is one of the stronger arguments on the pro side. Allie Beth's point here is, well, okay, well, if we agreed to allow it in those cases, would you ban it in the others? And of course, the answer always comes back no. So on that basis, there's no real use in using it. You either agree with it in all cases or you don't. And if you can't agree that, okay, fine, we'll only do it in those 1%, then why even talk about it?
And who absolutely
and is 100% harmful to the child.
And that's ultimately it, isn't it? It's 100% harmful to the child. And that, again, is where we just need to agree that the fundamental principles of this debate, and it's a tricky one, is what is the occupant of the human womb? And it is a human child. That really is ultimately the argument. All of this stuff around how many weeks, whether they can feel pain, the socioeconomic status of the parents at the time, all really pale into insignificance when we're talking about what is it? Is it a human or is it not? Because so many of these arguments apply to currently living, quote unquote, human beings. My point would be that the occupants of the womb are living as well. But you get so many of these arguments where, well, if you apply that argument to 1-day-old baby, does it still count? In almost all cases, the pro-aborts say, no, it doesn't. And that's where the logic really always seems to me to break down. Look, I realize this is a difficult debate and it can get tense. There's no need for it to get tense. We need to have this conversation civilly. We need to disagree civilly. And listen, we've had plenty of comments in our recent videos, giving us a lot of backlash to our views on this, which is fine. Guys, we'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you if you are in favor, if you're against. Let's just have a conversation about it. If you liked this video, please do give me a nice big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more of this coming. The podcast will be back with Pete as soon as we can get together and do the next one. But in the meantime, thanks so much for spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like that, please do remember to give us a nice big thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more episodes that are coming soon, please subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more coming your way.